Hello and welcome back. My name's Kieron Seamons. This is my inky world, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. I've spent the weekend looking through some of the oil paints from the past, and I found this absolutely delightful painting by Van Dyke. One of the incredible. Well, let's have a little bit of a longer look at it, and I thought I might try to do a version of it, my version. So it's kind of like if Van Dyke was there painting the lady and I was here drawing the lady at the same time. Not like a direct copy, but my version of the image that we see. So if you're interested in some kind of inky madness drawing, let's do it. This way. So we are going to get into something a little bit wild and different, maybe. I'm not quite sure how to even start, but a splash of red ink is always a good start, I believe. I'm just trying to get that kind of umbrella type feeling that's behind there in the painting. I don't know how long the painting will stay up on the... But I thought it would be a lovely kind of challenge to do something like that. Now there is a boy behind her as well, which I'm not going to bother about. But I do think that kind of doing this in my style is quite exciting. I feel like, in fact, there's a couple of red. The hands probably are down about there somewhere. There's another hand down the bottom there, somewhere about there. And I'm not going to do too much color. I just thought the color was so vibrant and the color kind of brought it to life that I thought it might be a nice play to kind of bring some of those colors in. There's a lovely kind of big collar as well, which again, if I'll try and use some of these little cheap watercolors because they might just... Oh, don't go away, don't go away, don't go away. Oh, it goes away so quick. I will do it for the beginning, and then after that I will just to kind of get an idea of the color. There's some lovely kind of... I do have an absolute passion. I did when I was doing my days of trying to be an oil painter. Van Dyke was one of those artists that you can't not do, you know. Van Dyke was one of those kind of child prodigy things, you know. It's like he was like he would kind of go and, you know, you can kind of look at some of the amazing people like Rembrandt and stuff like that, and you can kind of see that they've all had their kind of like childish beginnings, and you know, their kind of stumblings as they're kind of... Lovely, that's got a nice feeling to it. As they're kind of growing up in the art world. But not so much with Van Dyke. Van Dyke seemed to be a little boy who turned up and said, "Oh, this is how you do it," and just seemed to kind of get on with it. And it's always quite amazed by there are paintings where he's done that he's kind of like 14 or 15 years old, and it's just like it does kind of make your mind bend a little bit by his kind of talent from such a young age. I wonder if there's a brown. Was there a brown? Is there any brown? I thought I had a brown. I thought I had a big jar of brown. What did I do? Is that brown? Is that red? That's red. Okay. no problem. Is there any other watercolors there with brown? Well, we could change the color of her coat, I guess. Not to be shy. But that's that will be the basics there. Maybe I could just, since it's a there's some kind of some lovely kind of areas there behind with but that's brown. Where's my brown? Right. So we'll get on and we'll get back into the ink. I was hoping to put down some color base. And I thought that I had found a nice brown. At one point I had so many browns, and I remember giving lots of browns to my sister at one point because I was so tired of seeing so many brown inks in these palettes. So I will try to mix something up. Let's just do that. Don't try this at home. And she's got this kind of lovely kind of brown coat, and I wanted to get a feeling for the colors of the coat. I might even put a small drop in there. Just to add a bit more kind of shadow texture around that part. And the simple part about this painting was that it was just such a beautiful kind of image of capturing this woman in her pose, in her beautiful gown and her beautiful kind of umbrella, and her little helper behind her holding the umbrella. Now there is a hand in there, so I've got to be a little bit careful. Let's try and put a little bit more. Lovely. Again, just trying to use it in there to kind of slightly add a little bit of texture that's going on there. And that indeed is the other arm. And I'm going to put some hands on there. And although this is very, very rough and very, very, very quick, it's a quick sketch. It's only as a base for my ink to sit on top. And it might work and it might not work, but I've never really done this before. But I thought it might be a nice kind of fun exercise for us to kind of get into and explore. And she's got this rather elegant face. If I can find her face again. Sorry about this. And her face is rather, isn't that fantastic? This kind of very kind of serious expression that she has there. And I thought that'd be a lovely kind of character to kind of capture. I'm not sure of the name of this painting, but it is one of the paintings that you will find in the kind of in the collection of Van Dyke. One of his many classics, to be honest. I love I love a lot of the expressions in the old paintings. There's a whole kind of I don't want to smile type of approach to them, and it can, in many occasions, it can actually come across as being rather posh. It's gone again. There's so many of the old paintings, and I did spend a lot of time actually getting into that kind of feeling of maybe I should do some oil paintings, and I did a lot, and I was never really that happy with my final results. Although a lot of people were, and I gave a lot of I gave them all away. I kind of got to the stage of saying, "Well, that's not good enough." Oh, it's beautiful. I love it. Right, have it. Go, take it away quickly. You know, I kind of got to to that kind of frustrated version of life. It was just a horrendous type of well, we all get like that. We all kind of, you know, we think, oh, oil paints, that'll be fun, won't it? I shall be the next Rembrandt, and then all of a sudden it just falls apart on you, and it just doesn't really work out to be what you kind of expected it to be. But as we all do, we all kind of explore and get into different kind of styles and passions. But I had a great passion for the old paintings, the old oil paintings, and a lot of that kind of you know, the Van Dyke, the Rubens, the Titian, the Rembrandt, all of those people brought so much passion and love into my life. There used to be a lot of books in my dad's house. My dad was an oil painter. He used to do sculptures, and he used to do paintings, and he used to do such. And so I kind of grew up in a house that had all these odd books of kind of you know, these men in great costumes and top hats, and these men in great castles, and these elaborate ladies in fantastic dresses, and lots of kind of nude women in gauds and tigers and whatever, you know. Titian was one of the ones with lots of kind of tigers and warriors. I remember lots of warriors as well. So it's a great kind of let's take a little bit of that. Do I dare? And let's see if I can get a nice kind of red kind of glow to her cheeks. Oh, without putting any black in there. Again, it kind of just adds a little bit more of the kind of feeling to the character. I'm trying to avoid my wet ink as much as I can, but silly boy. Can I? No, it's too close to that. Right. And the idea was to bring this lady to life, and I would love to have been in those kind of times, because there was such an incredible liveliness about the arts in those days. There was an excitement about it, whereas now I feel like the arts are kind of like fading away a little bit. They're kind of being eaten up by modern bullshit, really. And that we've kind of got these people that are kind of obsessed, really, with doing things in AI, thinking that they're actually achieving something, and not my cup of tea, you know. Looking through some of the old paintings, walking through the galleries and seeing so many people. When I went to the National Gallery with my daughter a few weeks back, it was packed. There were so many people in there, and they were absolutely soaked up. And so many people coming from other countries, and a lot of Japanese people. Japanese people are the most gorgeous people. They're so sweet and kind and thoughtful, and they really are a lovely, 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 lovely race of people. I met a lot of Japanese people through my animation days, and just lovely people, absolutely lovely. And they would go around and they would have their little booklets, and they'd be reading all about each individual picture and stuff like that, which is so fantastic. Now I'm going to get in here with the hands seem to be extremely delicate, and that's really what I'm going to try to keep. I'm not going to do my usual rather chunky approach to my hands. And she's holding. It's like it's probably a symbol of peace, or I was never really one for kind of like following the names, though. I would kind of I was always too afraid to be one of those people that say, "Oh, it's a Rembrandt. It must be amazing. It must be beautiful." And so I was really much more kind of interested in finding paintings that spoke to me, that you kind of looked at and you kind of just fell in love. And one of those paintings was actually on a recent TV program. It was on, for those people that love art, go and watch the Fake or Fortune. It's one of the best TV programs you will find, with Fiona Bruce and Philip Mould. Both very different characters, but very, very kind of outspoken, and they actually put together a really rather beautiful program where they search out lots of paintings, and then somebody will bring that painting and say, "I've had this on my wall," and they go, "Oh my God, and they'll research to find out that is it a real one or is it a fake one. And it's an amazing program. And one of the programs that I saw, and it broke my heart. It really did break. I was breathless after seeing it. I was completely breathless. And it was, the title of the piece was A Time for War, and the painting was by Edward Landseer, and I really truly fell in love with it. I was absolutely, and it's not my usual kind of cup of tea, as people say. It's not really my kind of thing to look at war images and war paintings, but this one, there are two horses in it, and the two horses have been obviously wounded, and the soldier has fallen off the horse. Lovely. And what happens is that the painting actually gets mostly destroyed in the great floods of London, and it's an extremely sad story. So if you're a bit sensitive, it's like, I was just kind of sitting with my mouth open for about an hour. And it's just such an incredible story of how this painting had been destroyed back in the days of the flood. And the painting had been rolled up and forgotten about for 50 odd years. You know, and so the story behind it was that there was so much damage to it. Well, in the report there was a lot of damage, and in reality it wasn't too bad. And they restored part of this painting, and it was just incredible. There's a grey horse in it, and it's lying on its side, and the pain in this horse's eyes is like, oh my god, I wanted to take it home. And one day I actually find out at the end it is not, though I still believe it was, you know. The big knobs that come in and say, oh no it's not, no it's not. I kind of strongly kind of disagree with them, and so the painting actually went up for sale, and this is the ridiculous part. Around that time I had just got divorced, and Philip Mould was kind of saying, well, you know, if it's the real deal, it could be worth like £1 million, but if it isn't, probably worth about £3,000. And I was like, hang on a minute, I've got £3,000 in my bank from my divorce. And I could not sleep. I was absolutely obsessed with the whole idea of it. And I actually hunted down the gallery that has this painting for sale, and I sat for a couple of weeks. I sat and I pondered about this idea of having that painting in my living room. Okay, I would have no money left. I would be a poor man, but I would have this incredible oil painting in my living room. And yes, I know that's how mad artists can be. Our madness is quite famous for being nutty people, and it was quite a stressful time, because I could not stop thinking about buying this painting. I don't know what would happen when I kind of ran out of eating toast, and I had a £3,000, £4,000 painting on my wall, but I couldn't eat, you know. And at that time I didn't have Mr. Mirror, so Mr. Mirror came about a year later. So it was actually it was a beautiful time, actually. But in that, if you do go to watch the Edward Landseer episode, one of my other top paintings of all time, and I went to see this painting in London because I couldn't believe the story of this painting, was the execution of Lady Jane Grey. And this painting is huge. It's like 20 feet high, you know. And I had gone to see that painting in the National Gallery, or the Portrait Gallery, I can't remember which one. National Gallery. And I got my photo in front of it, and it's on my Facebook page somewhere. That was also one of the paintings that had been badly damaged in the Great Flood of London. So it was also quite shocking to see that painting up there and how it had been restored and stuff like that. A remarkable painting. I would travel to London just to see that. And it's just an incredible painting because it is so big, and so very few people actually know about this painting. The execution of Lady Jane Grey. You must go and look it up. And it's one of my favourite paintings of all time. And to actually see this painting and think that somebody had painted something so beautiful, so detailed, and so big. Remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. So there is our painting of this lovely, delightful lady with her umbrella. I think it's quite beautiful. I'm really pleased with that. Oh, and that's part of the excitement with this. That if Van Dyke was sitting there and he was painting this lady, and I was sitting in the corner, and I was doing my inky sketch of her. That's what I would have done. That is the drawing that I would have done, and that would be the painting that he would have done. And I would have been very pleased with it. So we could probably even drop in some red lips, couldn't we? If those lips have dried. Let's be brave, shall we? Let's be brave. And the room goes quiet. Oh, there it happened. Yeah, I was afraid of that. Let's start from the top. Beautiful. So there you have today's Blake and Seamons. Isn't that fantastic? So that is today's drawing, and I hope you liked it, and I hope that's given you some kind of excitement about maybe taking one of my drawings or one of your favourite artists' drawings and then doing your version of it. It's a fantastic kind of it fills you up with so much passion and so much excitement to see somebody else's drawing and seeing your style alongside it. The two artists, you and whoever your favorite artist is. Maybe I'll do some more of these. That was a lot of fun. So Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for donating. And I will see you back here again for some more inky adventures. Inky adventures. Thank you. Bye-bye.